Welcome back. So I'm still reading the national bestseller, Salvation, Black People and Love, written by Bell Hooks. And I'm in the chapter, The Issue of Self-Love. Jumping back in. Since racial segregation was the order of the day, we went to all black schools and churches. Everyone we respected, all our authority figures were black. As children, we did not know how limited their power was when it came to interacting with the dominant white world. Black families in the 50s, more than at any other time, endeavored to create a domestic life where racism did not overdetermine interaction, where childhood could be a time of innocence. Our father and mother did not talk about racism openly. Home was the sanctuary, the place where you could reinvent yourself no matter what you were forced to endure in the world outside the home. When our mother came home from working as a maid in the houses of well-off white people, she said very little about what happened there. Her joy was to be home with her family. As children of the 50s, we learned our greatest lessons about race from segregated television. It was a constant reminder of our difference, of our subordinated status. In 1959, Douglas Sirk's melodrama, Imitation of Life, was the number 4 box office hit. It provided the image of desirable womanhood. This film was an object lesson for females. Its message was clear. A woman sacrifices everything for her family. As Suzanne Douglas points out in Where the Girls Are, Growing Up Female with the Mass Media, quote, "Here we have Lana Turner as Laura, a selfish blonde bee who's always primping in front of a mirror and is obsessed with her career. She is the mother who, once she gets a taste of professional success, callously relegates her child to the care of others so that she can claw her way to the top. The word sacrifice means nothing to her, to this blood-sucker." End quote. White and black girls knew we were not to imitate her. We were to be like Annie, the black maid, serving those we care about with endless love and affection, and without complaint. Her daughter, Sarah Jane, tries to escape blackness by passing. Turning her back on blackness, Sarah Jane turns her back on Annie. She's of course punished. After the white world has used and rejected her, Sarah Jane comes back to blackness, only to find that Annie has died of a broken heart. Douglas writes, quote, "On her deathbed, with the violins and chorus of angelic soprano voices virtually pumping the water out of our tear ducts, Annie sets a new standard of female self-sacrifice," end quote. What appeared to the white viewer to be a new standard was already common and long-standing tradition in black life. Annie leaves the bulk of her worldly goods to her wayward daughter, saying, "I want everything that's left to go to Sarah Jane. Tell her I know I was selfish, and if I loved her too much, I was sorry," end quote. To our young black eyes, it was Sarah Jane who embodied the new and troubling image. To black viewers, she symbolized a new rebellious generation who wanted access to the same opportunities their white counterparts desired, including a white partner. Her punishment was a warning to all of us. It was meant to keep us in our place. The film ends with an image of Sarah Jane running into the funeral and hurling herself on Annie's coffin, screaming, "Mama, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Can you hear me? I did love you. I did love you." End quote. This tragic figure represents the fate of uppity young black folks who step out of their place. Not only does Sarah Jane, quote, kill her mother by being rebellious, she loses out on the only love this culture is prepared to let her have. Fathers are absent in The Imitation of Life. The film revolves around issues which were seen as relevant primarily to women: service and self-sacrifice. It was pure propaganda. The image of a loving woman then was a woman who gives her life for those she cares about. But as the film makes clear, not all women make this choice. And even though many of our mothers worked hard to realize this ideal, as the recipients of this care, we often saw how their sacrifices were unrewarded and unappreciated. Sacrificial mother love has been and remains a valued ideal in Black life. Contrary to the movie's version, in real life, mothers who sacrifice everything usually want something in return, whether it is obedience to their will, constant devotion, or something else. They're doing something for something. Many females who sacrifice everything are rageful and bitter because they're tired and uncared for. They may act out that rage in domineering and or controlling behavior. More benignly, striving to attain an idealized fantasy of mother love, some Black mothers have actually hindered the self-development of their children by not teaching them how to be responsible for their lives. So they smother them. We now know that this is not a gesture of love. When the contemporary feminist movement began, it helped many women to see that the sacrificial model was really designed by patriarchal men to keep women subordinated. It helped women distinguish between being a loving mother, which required the assertion of responsible selfhood and agency, and an anti-loving model, which required that women repress all their own needs and desires to serve others. Some women were disturbed when feminist thinkers compelled everyone to acknowledge that self-sacrificing woman was rarely genuinely loving, no matter how nurturing and caring her actions might appear. While these critiques have had an impact on younger women's construction of self and identity, overall they have not changed the idealization of the self-sacrificial woman in Black life. She's still held to be the desired ideal. Black women who embrace this ideal often have the most tragic stories to tell of use, exploitation, and abandonment. Sadly, even though these revelations show that this is an unhealthy and destructive way to be, this knowledge does not lead women to choose different habits of being. Often women cling to this model because it's the only available positive image, one that is constantly reinforced by mass media. The hit movie Soul Food was a modern-day idealization and romanticization of the matriarchal mother. By not attending to her health needs, the heroine dies an early and unnecessary death. Yet the film makes her an icon. Most Black folks know women like this, but collectively, Black folks refuse to acknowledge that selfless maternal giving is a sign of neither self-love nor strength. Often, younger Black females recognize this and refuse to take on the mantle of martyr. Their awareness that the self-sacrificing woman does not win the day is keen. They know she does not receive love from anyone, gratitude maybe, devotion sometimes, but love rarely. Refusing to be like Annie, the mother in Imitation of Life, they feel there is more to gain by becoming like her daughter, Sarah Jane, narcissistic, self-interested, and self-invested, out for what they can get. Of course, they are no more able to love than the sacrificial caretaker. Since giving care is a part of love, the sacrificial caretaker has some sense of what loving entails, however incomplete. The callous, cynical, narcissistic female has no understanding of love. Significantly, if Black women are to choose love, we must rebel against both these models of desirable womanhood, the sacrificial martyr and the selfish diva. Nowadays, hip-hop culture often idealizes the out for what she can get, what have you done for me lately, be goddess. but neither the opportunistic, greedy, self-involved diva nor the long-suffering, maternal martyr represents self-loving womanhood. To choose love, we must choose a healthy model of female agency and self-actualization, one rooted in the understanding that when we love ourselves well, not in a selfish or narcissistic way, we're best able to love others. When we have healthy self-love, we know that individuals in our lives who demand of us self-destructive martyrdom do not care for our good, for our spiritual growth. Often men demand of Black women that we assume a selfless caretaker role. In the popular film, The Best Man, the Black male star chooses a subordinated, sacrificing partner over the independent, self-actualized pair whom he really loves. Which goes back to the statement she made in the other video when she points out that we've come to believe that somebody has to be subordinated in a relationship. Somebody has to be under someone else. Children have to be under us. Women have to be under men. Black people have to be under white people, and it's always under and never equal and never partners. But I digress. The issue of self-love, and I go back to what she was saying about womanhood. What kind of women are we? Yours to think about, mine to think about. Thank you so much for listening, and tell me what you think.